Sairam students, yes, welcome back. Today we will be having our first revision session for the unit test, and today we are going to learn the first poem 1.1 Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. In this today's session, what we are going to do, we'll just have a brief summary of the poem, and then we will have learn as to what type of questions will be asked in the unit test. So going ahead, Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, Where the Mind is Without Fear, we'll first read the poem and then we'll move ahead. Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861 to 1941. He was the author of Gitanjali and is profoundly sensitive, fresh and beautiful verse. He became the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali and later he himself translated it into English. This poem is from the Nobel Prize winning anthology Gitanjali. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the British. In this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to God for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. So Rabindranath Tagore has written down this poem during the freedom struggle, and it is a prayer. No, it is not only a prayer to the Almighty but also an appeal to God as to what type of conditions He wants for the people of India. So here we go with the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. Okay, so this is the poem which we have, and according to this poem, we are going to learn what the poet is trying to tell us. Okay, so the poet in this poem is trying to tell us that this is a prayer whereby the poet is praying to God for a place, for a land, for his fellow colleagues to have a peaceful life where knowledge is free. Knowledge is free means where knowledge is available for everyone, and where everybody is living a life full of respect and dignity, and where the world is not been separated. There's no sort of discrimination by narrow domestic walls, by superstitions, or by whatever the differences people have. He wants a place which is not having these things, and also he wants a place where people speak the truth and where they strive hard to achieve their goal. Tireless striving stretches its arms. So he wants a place where people try their best to give the perfect, and where people have the clear thinking and not irrational thinking. Whatever they think, it is rational, is logical, practical, and not based on blind faiths, superstitions, orthodox thoughts. All this is not wanted in the land where the poet wants. And also he wants the God, the Almighty, to lead everybody, where the mind is led forward by thee into an ever-widening thought and action. So the poet is appealing to God, praying to God that God, please do lead us, show us the right path. And he wants a place, a heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. So here it's telling that as it is, people are very much harassed because of the British rule, and at the same time it is lagging behind because of the superstitions, blind thoughts, no unity as such, where there is ignorance. Yes, so he wants people to be knowledgeable. So all these conditions are required for a place which the poet wants, and this is a prayer which is made to the Almighty by Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, so that is what the poet wants, where the mind is without fear, where everybody, a place where nobody is scared of anything. They are free to get knowledge, they are free to they are free from the British rule, and the knowledge is also freely available to them. So, and where there are people who strive hard to work hard to achieve success, to gain their goals, to achieve their goals. So all these things are wanted by the poet in his own country. Okay, so this is the gist of the poem. Okay, and now we will be moving ahead as to what type of questions will be asked in your unit test. Okay children, the poem extract will be given. So we have this, it's a very small poem, so we have taken this full extract, and accordingly the questions will be asked. Okay, so we go ahead. We have the first question. Read the poem extract and complete the given activities. Now what we are going to do children over here, we have been asked to complete the following, and we have to choose the best option from the options given. Okay, so where words come out, so what will be the best option which we will choose? Yes, where words come out, will it be of dead habit or from the depth of truth? Yes, it is going to be from the depth of truth. So that is the correct answer which we will be choosing. So similarly, in your unit test also, you will have to choose the correct option given over there if such type of question is asked. Fine. Then going ahead, what is the meaning of tireless striving stretches its arms? So again, options are given over here. So does it mean continuous efforts towards achieving a goal, or old rituals and customs? So as we have discussed, that tireless striving stretches its arms means that it is where you put in your best efforts to achieve your goals. So what will be the correct option over here? The correct option will be this. So tireless striving stretches its arms means continuous efforts towards achieving a goal. Fine? Okay, fine. Moving ahead. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. The figure of speech is inversion because. So over here I have given you the figure of speech, but why is that sentence the figure of speech given? We have to give the explanation. So is it because direct address is made to the god, or is it because the words are not arranged in correct prose order? So what will be my correct option? Inversion. Where? Yes, we have already learnt what you have already learnt what inversion means. Inversion means a way where the words the poet has put in words not in correct prose order, in a poetic way. So the figure of speech over here is inversion because the words are not arranged in correct prose order. So my option for this will be the second one. The words are not arranged in correct prose order. Fine. Okay. Moving ahead with our next question. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, identify and explain the figure of speech. So over here two figures of speech are given with explanation. So out of this, which one we will choose? Which is the correct option over here? Okay. So the correct option over here is what? Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Is it repetition or is it alliteration? What does repetition mean? Repetition means where words are repeated for better poetic effect. So in this sentence, whatever in the statement which is given, is there any word which is being repeated? No, there is no such word which is being repeated for the figure of speech to be called as repetition. But we have sound of the letter H being repeated over here, and over here. Head, held, high. So it is the sound, not the letter which is repeated, but the sound of the letter which is repeated. So head, held, high. So it is h, h, h. So that is the sound of the letter H which is being repeated. So that is why it is called as alliteration. Are you getting it, children? So the figure of speech in this sentence is alliteration, and that is my correct option. I hope this is clear to you, children. Fine. Moving ahead with our next question. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? Is there any rhyme scheme? Is the poet used any rhyme scheme? No, the poet has not used any rhyme scheme. So when there is no rhyme scheme, the option is clear, no rhyme scheme. So what is a rhyme scheme over here? So the poem has no rhyme scheme over here. So if there is no rhyme scheme, we will not give them A, B, A, whatever it is. We will write it a free verse, or you can mention it as a blank verse, or you can just write the poem has no rhyme scheme. That's it. That is what is wanted when the poem is not having any rhyme scheme. Fine. So this is what the type of questions which can be asked on the poem extract in your unit test, and you have to pick out the correct answer, think and pick out the correct answer for the question which is asked. Okay, you have to understand the question what is being asked, and then pick out the correct choice, correct option. Okay, so this is what we have in our poem, where the mind is without fear. And children, it is you have to understand what questions are being asked, isn't it? So based on that, these are just examples which we have solved. Questions similar to this or even different from this can be asked for you in the exam, so you have to answer them accordingly. So I hope whatever I have explained now is very clear to you. Okay, and we will be meeting again in our second revision session with our next lesson 1.2. So for then, bye, stay safe, thank you, and Sai Ram.